In today's video, we are going to discuss about positional plagiocephaly versus lambdoid craniosynostosis. Other one is the clover leaf skull syndrome, and the next one will be the syndromes associated with the craniosynostosis. So firstly we will start with the positional plagiocephaly and the lambdoid craniosynostosis. So we have to understand that this plagiocephaly is the flattening of the skull, not the craniosynostosis. So in the positional plagiocephaly, it happens when the infant lies down for a prolonged period in a particular position, which will leads to the flattening of the skull. And because of this flattening, it will leads to forward direction pressure, which leads to the ipsilateral side ear and the frontal bossing will happen, and the ipsilateral ear will move forward direction. It will happen after some time period after the birth, and there is no need of specific treatment for it. It will treat automatically after some period of time. The next one will be the lambdoid craniosynostosis. In the lambdoid craniosynostosis, there will be the premature fusion of lambdoid suture, and because of this premature fusion of lambdoid suture, there will be the backward side movement of the ipsilateral ear, and similarly the frontal bossing will be happen on the contralateral side in this lambdoid craniosynostosis. It will develop just after the birth or at the time of birth, and we have to treat it surgically. So these will be the difference between positional plagiocephaly and the lambdoid craniosynostosis. Next one is the clover leaf skull syndrome. It is also known as Kleeblatt-Saddle syndrome. So the key word in it is the trilobed configuration of the head or skull. The reason for this development of trilobed configuration is there are premature fusion of almost all sutures of the brain except metopic suture. The most commonly involved sutures are coronal and the lambdoid suture in it, and it leads to development of hydrocephalus. As we previously discussed, in brachycephaly there was mental retardation. In the scamphocephaly there was no mental retardation or no hydrocephalus. So now this cloverleaf skull syndrome is associated with the three syndromes. These are the thanatophoric dysplasia, another one is the Apert syndrome, and the next one is the Crouzon syndrome. So these are the syndromes associated with clover leaf skull syndrome, or we can say the craniosynostosis. So we will discuss the features of these three syndromes. Firstly, the main feature of the thanatophoric skull dysplasia is it is a kind of the lethal skeletal dysplasia. So in it, one is the rhizomalia. Rhizomalia is the shortening of the proximal bones like the femur, humerus, etc. So next one feature will be the telephonic handle femur, and the next one is the chest will be narrow with the horizontal ribs. So these three features can help in identification of thanatophoric skull dysplasia. Next is the Apert syndrome. In it there is the brachycephaly, that is the premature fusion of coronal sutures. Along with that there is the syndactyly, means fusion of the finger, which will give appearance of sock hands. And the next one is the Crouzon syndrome. It is also associated with the brachycephaly. Other features are the mandible and the maxilla will be hypoplastic. There will be the coarctation of the aorta and the PDA. In it there is also the rhizomalia is there, and Chiari-3 association is also there. So these are the features of the Crouzon syndrome. First, arch structures are involved in it. So these are the basic or common syndromes